On June 30th, 2026, during a House Oversight Committee hearing on declassified federal secrets, a former CIA officer delivered a deeply unsettling piece of testimony. He stated on the record that he does not believe the agency's mind control research ever actually stopped. He was talking about Project MKUltra. Authorized in 1953, this was a decades-long CIA operation involving non-consensual medical torture. The agency subjected American citizens, soldiers, and prisoners to extreme behavioral modification experiments. For Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who chaired the hearing, framing these actions as bureaucratic overreach misses the mark. She explicitly categorized the agency's history as crimes against humanity. For over 50 years, the official line from the intelligence community has been that MKUltra was a Cold War relic, a dark chapter securely closed and completely dismantled in 1973. This new testimony shatters that assurance. It forces us to ask a deeply uncomfortable question. Did the CIA actually abandon its quest to control the human mind, or did the program simply adapt and go underground? Uncovering buried truths requires independent platforms that refuse to accept the official narrative at face value. Today's video is brought to you by Shasta Unfiltered, serving the North State with fearless, honest journalism. The challenge with investigating MKUltra is that the perpetrators deliberately erased their own tracks. As the Watergate scandal threatened exposure in 1973, top officials systematically destroyed the project's files. No agents went to prison, and the victims were never compensated. This creates a massive investigative void. If an agency is willing to burn its own archives to escape justice, there is no logical reason for the public to trust their unverified promise that the operation ceased entirely. To understand the agency's drive for control, you have to look at the man who ran the program, Sidney Gottlieb. Known internally as the poisoner-in-chief, Gottlieb was the principal architect behind the mind control initiative. He oversaw at least 149 distinct subprojects. His teams routinely deployed massive doses of LSD, extreme electroshock therapy, and severe sensory deprivation on individuals who had no idea they were test subjects. The operations spilled out into major American cities. In San Francisco, under Operation Midnight Climax, CIA operatives set up safe houses disguised as brothels so they could secretly dose civilians with hallucinogens and observe their reactions behind two-way mirrors. The destruction extended across borders. In Canada, Dr. Ewan Cameron received covert CIA funding for de-patterning experiments on mental health patients, an aggressive process of erasing a person's identity that left many victims with permanent psychological damage. These diverse projects ran for 2 straight decades across entire continents. The sheer geographic reach and duration of the experiments show a sustained, high-level investment in dismantling the autonomy of the individual. That investment remained heavily protected. As investigations started closing in during 1973, then CIA Director Richard Helms explicitly ordered the complete destruction of all MKUltra documentation. This illustrates the sheer volume of data generated by 149 active subprojects. Thousands of medical and financial files were meticulously maintained, but when congressional probes began, that archive was almost entirely incinerated. Investigators had to piece the narrative together from just a few surviving receipts. Because of that purge, the history of MKUltra is defined by its missing pieces. We are left to deduce the true scope and ultimate fate of the program from the few fragments left behind. This brings us back to the 2026 testimonies. Expert witnesses like authors Stephen Kinzer and Tom O'Meal testified to a new reality. The tools of influence are no longer limited to individual doses or isolated wards. The capability for behavioral control has dramatically scaled up to match the unprecedented speed and massive reach of modern digital networks. Today, researchers access advanced neuroscience, deep behavioral algorithms, powerful artificial intelligence, and ubiquitous digital surveillance networks. This comparison shows the shift. While the 1950s relied on chaotic, physical interventions like dosing individuals with LSD, 2026 offers highly precise, scalable digital behavioral modification that can target entire populations without leaving a single medical trace. It defies logic to believe that an agency obsessed with mastering human behavior would voluntarily abandon its core mission at the exact moment the perfect technology to achieve it finally arrived. When an intelligence agency categorizes citizens as expendables to be tested on without consent, the boundary between the state and the individual disappears. This is no longer a government operating for its people, but one operating on them. We see the consequences of government opacity constantly at the local level. Whether you are demanding budget transparency in Shasta County or fighting for declassified documents on Capitol Hill, secrecy guarantees abuse. Congress needs to push past the stonewalling. Representative Luna's task force is a start, but lawmakers must demand the full declassification of any surviving MK Ultra files and rigorously investigate any modern successor programs. We want to hear your read on this. Do you think the research truly ended 50 years ago, or has it simply evolved into the sophisticated surveillance capitalism we live with today? Let us know in the comments. Sunlight remains the best disinfectant we have against overreach. Keep asking questions, demand accountability, and head over to Shasta Unfiltered to support independent reporting that refuses to look away. Stay informed.